Hello, everyone. I should be live. Dev, you're live. Yes, I am. What's going on, everyone? Arch also started a stream. He's not doing it on YouTube, though. I am. I'm braving the crowd. In fact, here. Apparently, this is doable as long as you have that logo up, right? CNN wants its logo up, which is fair, I guess. So let's do that here. Shit. Okay. Here, I'll bring in the screen just for a second. There it is. And now let's add an image. Hey, Blue Yed, what's up? I do have a CNN logo I can slap on here. There it is. Look at yeah. How big it is. Is that too big? You know what I'll do? Yeah. There, just cover the whole screen with it. Why not? Actually, no. What I'll do is I'll make it smaller. Oh, come on. Here. Oops. I'm accidentally moving everything. Dev, don't screw it up. Do you know what I'll do? Here. CNN at the top. Here, I've got it all. I know what's going on, guys. And how's that? Now, if it turns out I do need to actually put something over top of it, I'll put over top of it the fair use. The fair use thingy. You know what I mean? That's what I'll do. Just move it down a bit. If needed, that's what I'll do. How does that look? Yeah, guys. Thanks for the donos, guys. Two ancients in verbal combat. I feel like they should make two toddlers fight for the sake of symmetry. Oh my god. Big and stinky. CNN has it all. Thanks for the dollar, Alan. Appreciated, man. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll also, since it's time to call Arch, isn't it? I can get like an Arch. I got a pretty good Arch picture here. Give me a moment. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. I've got the old meme, the live Arch reaction from before. I'll slap it in. Yep, you know what? We might get nuked, but that's okay. Actually, I'll rename this real quick. Okay. See? Now Arch's face is there. Haha! Here, let's give him a call, okay? Let's give him a call. Ring. Hey, Arch.
Hello, Dev.
How's it going?
I think the debate crashed Rumble.
Oh, did it?
Can you access Rumble if you just try to go to the Rumble page?
Let's see. I can access it, but the stream's not live. Whoa.
I can't access Rumble at all.
Yeah, I'm on my. Here, let's see. I'm on. Nope. It just died for me.
Yeah, I think it actually killed Rumble.
Okay. So some people in chat are saying that CNN is actually allowing you to stream it on YouTube. You just need to have the CNN logo on your stream,
I see.
which is a bit strange, but okay.
Well, on your screen, as in what?
Well, I just put the CNN
As
logo on
in,
my screen. I just put it in the corner like I'm CNN. Well, if I need to,
okay.
what I'll do. Well, here's the thing. Do you recall when we did the watch alongs for like
Yeah.
Rings of Power and that? I put a
Mhm.
the fair use sticker over top of it at like 2/3 opacity. I'll just do that if I have to. I'll keep an eye on my YouTube and see if it starts screaming at me for copyright infringement.
Right. I might just see if Rumble is actually dead. I might start up the YouTube stream because I didn't expect Rumble to fucking die.
Let's see here. I'm currently up on, yep, Twitter,
Yep, the Twitter
Kick,
seems to be working.
yeah.
Kick
Twitter,
is working too.
Kick,
Yep.
Rumble, Twitch, YouTube. They're all working.
Is your Rumble working?
No, sorry, that's the one that's not working. Well, my restream says it's going to Rumble, but Rumble's just not up. That's the situation.
Yep. Same for me. All right. I'm gonna put the CNN fucking logo. It's an interesting thing to put up.
Yep.
Yep, I think it actually managed to kill Rumble, which is interesting. Um, conspiracy theory time, Dev.
Nah, I think it's just bandwidth.
Yeah, probably. It just too much for Rumble to handle. Too many people trying to stream, which
Yep.
is a problem for the YouTube competitor, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh wait, so hold on. Suddenly my Twitter's not working now.
Your Twitter not working too.
Come on, Elon, get it together. Yours is going, but
Let
mine
me.
isn't.
Yours isn't really. Okay, let
Yeah.
me check mine. Yeah, mine is. Mine seems to be alive. What the?
Oh well, these
Okay.
things happen, I guess.
Yep. So we killed Rumble. All
Mhm.
right. Well, such is life, I suppose.
Man, everyone is streaming it though. Everyone I follow is streaming it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see
Absolutely.
here.
Everyone is.
On Twitter, The Quartering, Pisco, Archcast, JStock, Josiah. 5 streams, and they're all just this. Everyone's talking about this
Yep.
right now.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess I'll try to do the YouTube stream then, because I did promise the chat a stream now, but I really wanted to not give YouTube the traffic for this though, because they were being assholes about it. But I guess it's not an option, huh?
I think it's CNN being assholes about it, to be honest.
True, true. But the very fact that YouTube allowed it, because I want to point out too, though, why the hell would YouTube need to, agree to anything here? They've outcompeted television years ago. They could just go like, "Nah, fuck you."
Yeah, that's for sure. God damn it, stop calling me a communist on my own channel. Fuck you guys. Okay.
Go on, go on, tell it as it is, chat.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, my Twitch just isn't working. Maybe I'll reconnect it. I mean, we still got, 11 minutes to figure this out. A lot of this pre-show stuff is not that interesting, to be honest.
That's true. I was amusing chat about tales of how women should never have been allowed into politics.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's been a couple of things in Norway recently where female ministers, like ministers of justice and culture, have just acted like utter whores in public, completely in disregard of the. Because these are official positions. You should treat them with at least a pretend that you respect them. They just have not.
At least pretend you respect them.
Yes, like at least put on the facade, right? Dress properly. Don't behave poorly, like behave like a minister of a nation, you know?
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I think my Twitter's just not working. Damn, this sucks. Oh well. My main platform is YouTube, and YouTube is going great. Oh, you know what I'll do real quick? Here. Give me a moment, chat. Because we do have 10 minutes of waiting here. So I do want to try to check something out. Here. I'll be back in a second, Arch.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, Arch is gone temporarily. It's just you and I. So we are going to watch something hilarious. Now this guy, here, I'll bring us back in. This guy is a lefty. I think he actually edits for Dylan Burns. But it's time for us to watch what we think the debate's going to be like.
Well, if I am Jack, then you are Wojak, the mostest soy Wojak possibly in the world.
Yeah. Listen, you are the soy Wojak. I am the Chad Wojak.
No, you are the soy Jojak, and I am the Chad Gamer Wojak. You know who you are? You are the 80-year-old unfit ruler. That's who you are.
You know you're not the Chad Wojak. I am the Nordic Gamer, Chad, the Giga Chad Wojak.
You're the virgin, and I'm the Chad.
I'm actually not a virgin. Your mom can attest to that.
Well, look, all I'm saying is that we are in two separate leagues. You are the globalism fan, and I am the patriotism enjoyer.
I'm a patriotic globalist. I support slavery worldwide. A better analogy would be that I'm the rare Pepe, and you're the small crying people.
You're Apustaya. You're a small crying Apustaya.
Oh, my God.
Am the based and red-pilled Groiper.
That is not true.
It is true.
No, you're not based. You are actually cringe.
No, I am based and red-pilled. Well, if I am...
Best debate, guys. Best debate. Nipples protruding. That's right. I can't wait for all the old memes to come back, you know what I mean? Oh, man. J-Mac, thanks very much for the 50 gifted memberships. Thanks, dude. That's fucking awesome. You are the best, as always, J-Mac. As always. Okay, real quick here. We'll jump back in with Arch, my pal Arch, in a second. I wanted to try to grab one more thing. Have I lost it? I might have lost it. One more funny debate, presidential debate meme. Taftaj was supposed to be here with us tonight, guys, because her and I are going to start doing more regular content, but she's not around, unfortunately. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just get back to it. Here we go. Okay, Arch, I've returned. I had to show the chat.
Have you now?
My chat a meme, so I showed them the meme.
Did you show them the meme?
I showed them the meme. It was pretty good.
Was it a good meme?
It was a good meme. You know what? I'm ready for all the Trump memes to come back. You know, like it's no secret that I don't like Trump, but I love Trump memes. Trump memes were hilarious in 2016. They were hilarious in 2020. They're hilarious in 2024. I love the memes.
I'll tell you who's really excited for the return of Trump.
Who's that?
CNN.
Oh yeah, they can be relevant again.
Oh yes, they can be relevant again. My God, they probably haven't seen ratings like this in years.
I saw one meme. I couldn't find it, but I saw one where it's like someone said something along the lines of, "I bet CNN is loving this," and it had like it was a screenshot from their debate coverage, and it was like from a couple hours ago, and there was something like 15 different CNN logos on the screen because they had like some signs in the background. They had like a big TV in the background with a thing. It had the CNN, CNN, and then it had like just CNN fucking everywhere, just tons of CNNs, and it's like, dude, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, unironically, you I remember seeing like the oh God, that's interesting looking. Oh boy. Okay, let's try and fix that. Never mind me. I'm just talking to myself and problem solving as I'm switching back over to YouTube, and it's made many interesting things happen.
Well, on my end, thanks very much for all the donations, guys. Probably not going to be able to read super chats too religiously tonight. That's just how it is, because it is a debate we're watching. But thanks for the support anyway.
Oh, God, it derped the entire chat box.
Oh, no.
Very, very hard. What was that about? Oh yes, they showed like the ratings, the viewership ratings change between like pre-Trump and post-Trump, and yeah, it took a massive dip. Like Trump was keeping these platforms relevant straight up, which is a bit of a self-own in many ways, I suppose.
Yeah, kinda. Trump was at least entertaining. Here's the thing, right? Like I said, I don't like Trump. Biden, in my opinion, is the lesser of two evils. I know you disagree, Arch. That's fine. We can be friends and disagree. But in terms of entertainment factor, okay, Trump has a lot more entertainment factor. There's more memes. There's more laughs. Now there's some laughs out of Biden too. You see him stumble around on stage. You see him kind of like, he's like 90 years old. He's barely fucking present. That can be funny sometimes too. But eventually it just gets to be sad because you're like laughing at an old man
Falling
who's
down.
like. You're laughing at an old man who's like kind of senile and half the time doesn't know where he is, and it's like, oh, it stops being funny quick. Now, to be fair, I did look at a compilation recently of like Trump in 2016 versus Trump now, and Trump has also really slowed down too. Like he's had his own like old man moments recently as well. There was one bit where I think he was in Texas and he thought he was in Arkansas or something when he was talking, and he was like stumbling over words. Like Trump is also an old man. He's what 79, 78? Like he's an old guy too. So
yeah, and I also want to point out just how stressful the whole campaigning thing is.
Yeah.
This is not an old man sport by any stretch of the imagination.
I agree with you. I'm going to move my CNN logo, I think.
Yes. So apparently, according to Dev, you can stream it, but you have to put up a CNN logo. So we're just going to have a big, dumb CNN logo on screen now.
That's what people have been saying on social media, and I'm going to roll with it because I feel like streaming.
Apparently. So my chat, and this is just chat being chat, but they're claiming that Rumble was receiving a DDoS strike?
Well, I mean, DDoSes are just a bunch of extra traffic that you can't handle, right? So it could just be the case that tons of people are streaming to Rumble right now, so it's fucking them. Doesn't need to be malicious,
That's true. Like everyone got pissed off at YouTube and their nonsense, and so they tried to stream on Rumble, and it just violated the entire platform.
Yep.
Which again is not a good look for the YouTube competitor, but yeah.
But yeah,
like we're going to be an alternative to YouTube. Can we stream on you? Yeah, but only so many at the time, though. Calm down.
And also, we're going to make you change the fucking stream key every single time you do a new stream. Because fuck convenience. I hate that shit on Rumble, man. I hate that shit on Rumble.
Yeah. Rumble has a long way to go, and user-friendliness still.
Yeah.
Why not malware and extra traffic at the same time? Oh, good point, chat. Could be both.
Oh god, what you're about to see is the bleeding edge of medical technology for giving temporary vitality to the senile. Listen, I guarantee you, all right? Hunter Biden is like backstage mixing up the perfect cocktail of drugs to keep Joe Biden going. He's like, listen, Dad, I got experience with this. Here's what you need to take to be alive just for the next like 3 hours.
Yeah, Dad, my pharmaceutical knowledge is extensive. Now, whilst Dev has given up, I still see an opportunity. So, Beaufort Shoe has been a member for 12 months. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. The other is still looking for the stage exit. And Subject Noble, I blame the British for giving women rights. Me too. Women should not have been given the right to vote. They should not. Or at the very least, they should not have been given the right to vote without first being indoctrinated as to the power of voting. Very important.
I mean, it's probably better to make it based on IQ, to be honest.
Nah, I think we can do this on gender. Easier. Like, measuring everybody's IQ would be a hell of a task, but just checking if they've got a set of dick and balls or not, pretty easy.
That's actually pretty hard nowadays too, though.
Oh, it'll be pretty easy after a few years of no female voting. And Lord comes to Spartan. Arch, if you do catch this, tell Dev that gasoline was $1.20 a gallon under Trump, and now it's cheap and it's $3.50. Yell at him. Communist. Communist. Why?
Because Eastman memo, attempt to steal the election. We disagree on this. It's fine, but you know my logic. I know yours. We don't got to make.
Why?
Hold on. We got 17. I'm going to turn on the audio to this because we got now. Ooh, isn't that music? By the way, chat, if it's too loud, let me know.
Okay, so you've made the linky thingy. I'm gonna try and join the linky thingy.
Oh no, don't use that, man. It's like I said, it doesn't work. I'm just streaming it from YouTube.
Okay.
Like I tried to do that, it didn't work.
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race.
Right, so I guess we're just gonna try to watch it.
We'll debate the
Help.
former US
Live then.
Yep, we're just watching it live. We're doing it live, as the old meme was.
In American history. We want to welcome
Two
our viewers
old
in
men.
the United
That
States and around the world to our studios.
Which one are
in
you
Atlanta.
using? I'm using the
This
USA
is the
Today
CNN
one.
I'm using CNN's direct
debate.
one.
This
Okay.
debate is being produced by
I didn't know they had one. Let me see if I can
Yep,
find that
on
one.
CNN YouTube channel.
CNN International,
Chat, you want the
CNN.com,
debate louder?
CNN Max, and CNN Espanol. This
It's a bit
is
loud for me.
pivotal moment between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in their rematch for the nation's highest office.
see.
Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day. Good evening, I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and
There we
co-anchor
go.
of State of the Union.
I'm
Yeah,
Jake Tapper,
do tell me,
anchor
chat,
CNN's
what is
the lead
loud and
co-anchor
too
of
loud.
State of
I'm
the
gonna
Union.
try to
Dan and I
adjust
will
it
co-moderate
based on my
this
little
evening.
bars,
Our
but my
job
little
is
bars
to
often lie.
facilitate a
Yeah,
debate
they do.
between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules of the debate with the audience.
Okay, I
at
maxed the
home.
volume out.
Former President Trump will be on the left side of the screen. President Biden will be appearing on the right. A coin toss
What?
determines
How about
their
that, chat?
positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes
A
to
coin
answer
toss on
question
the side of
and
the screen?
1 minute
Why?
each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up clarification.
Oh,
or
by the way, I don't know
response
if you noticed,
is
but this
at
is
the
actually
moderator's
significantly earlier than it
discretion.
should be.
When
Usually
it's
the
time for a
debates
candidate
start
to
in
speak,
September.
His microphone will be turned on.
Is it?
And his
Yep.
opponent's microphone
And
will
also,
be turned off.
there's usually 5
Should a
debates,
candidate interrupt when his microphone
either
is muted,
4 and 1
it
for
will
the
be
VP or
difficult to
3 and 2.
understand for
There's only 2
viewers
this
at home.
time. All the
At
other
end
debates
of
were
the debate,
canceled.
Each candidate will get 2 minutes
see.
for closing statements. There is no studio audience.
All right, you want it
Pre-written
louder,
notes,
chat? Really?
props,
I mean,
or
it looks
contact
quite
with
loud
campaign
on.
staff are
Yeah,
not
I can't
permitted during
turn
the
up
debate.
anymore on my end
By
either.
accepting our invitation to debate
I
both
can turn it
candidates
up
and their campaigns
more on
agreed
my
to
side, but it
accept
it
these
looks like
rules.
it's really
Now,
loud
please
here.
welcome
But
the 46th president of
Okay.
the United States,
okay,
Joe Biden.
chat, good. Good chat. Happy?
Everyone's like,
God,
more! Okay, here's...
He already looks weird the way he walks.
Well, he's very
And
old.
please
man.
welcome the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump.
It's fine. Okay, chat. Good.
And Trump's getting up there too.
Yep.
2
At
old
least he can
boomers.
still have a little bit of determination.
Gentlemen, thanks so much
You
for
were
being
right
here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse
no
off
audience.
under your presidency than they were under President
No audience?
Trump?
No
Why?
audience.
Take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall.
Okay, stumbling
Pandemic
already.
was so
Good.
badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed.
Me.
What?
There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do was try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000.
Biden, cough it up
manufacturing
first before you
jobs.
do the
But
speech.
there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from
Okay,
Scranton,
so
Pennsylvania,
he
I come
starts.
from a household
He
where
starts
kitchen
with the whole
tables,
bleach thing.
things
Interesting.
whenever we met during the month, it was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination.
He actually wasn't this bad even 6 months ago.
Right
like
now.
it's
Yeah, no, this
remarkable.
is not great.
We're in a situation where
This is not great.
Take a look at all that was done in his administration. He didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs.
To be honest, that's actually true. Like Trump didn't do much.
We brought
kind of
down
a
the
seat
price
warmer.
of prescription
You should have done
drugs, which is
more.
a major issue for many people.
You should have made
$15
camps.
for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things.
Trump doesn't get enough credit for what he did during COVID. Not only did he get a vaccine out, no matter how much I doubt this. We're on YouTube now, can't say that.
It was a disaster for our country, but other than
but
that,
still,
we had given
it was
them
a lot of
there
work
wasn't
to
a
get
Great
it, yeah.
Depression.
country where the stock
He
market
managed to
actually
keep
was
the economy
higher than
from
pre-COVID,
crashing
and nobody
fully,
thought that
despite
was even
everyone's thinking it
possible.
would.
The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job.
True,
He's done
though.
a poor job, and inflation
Bounce
is killing
back
our
jobs.
country.
Yeah,
it is absolutely
that is definitely a
killing
thing
us.
that happened.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world.
Really?
And, you know, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised the deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea
Yeah,
that
but a
he
lot of
did
that was
something
COVID's fault,
significant, and the military.
Yeah, you can't really blame Trump for that.
If it were Hillary, they would have lost the jobs anyway in 2020. Like,
he didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still found ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any this decade that done any
this century.
dying anywhere in the
Oh my
world
God, dude!
like he did.
Biden. President Trump, I want to
Biden has had no troops, the only president in his century. There are no troops in any other country.
I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods.
Look, even this decade isn't true.
How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just
That's not
force
how
them to
tariffs
pay us
work,
a lot
though,
of
Trump.
money, reduce our deficit
The money does not just pass
tremendously,
along to
and
who
give
you
us
want
a
it
lot
to
of power
pass
for
along
other
to,
things. But
or the cost.
he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as
usual, okay, Trump is.
I was getting
He's
out
blustering
of
a bit, but
we're getting out with
there was some
with
Trump
strength,
inflation there because
with
COVID
power.
had started at that point.
He got
there was
out.
some
It
Trump
was the most
inflation going on,
embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President
Now,
Trump, over
yes,
the
the
last 8 years,
defeat
under both
to
of your
Afghanistan,
administrations, the
that was
national
not a
debt soared to
not a
record
glorious
highs.
moment, shall we
And
say.
according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations
the US
pay
not
even less in
facing
taxes
trillion-dollar
than they
deficits?
do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going
just look
like
at
never
Biden.
before.
He looks
And
so
we were ready to start
sad
paying
and
that
lost.
Debt. We're ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it.
This isn't true
Something
because
which
the
a lot of
vaccine
people
didn't
don't like to
fully come
talk
out till
about.
2021.
But he had far more people dying
And
in
he-
his administration.
Biden had like 3
He did
times
the
more
mandate,
COVID
which is a
months than
disaster,
Trump did.
mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate
so it's
on the
true.
vaccine, which is
Yeah,
the
he
thing
just
that
had
people
longer.
most
Yeah.
objected to
Yeah,
about
that's
the
still a
vaccine.
reasonable point,
Yeah.
And he did a very
and you
poor
know it.
job,
Yeah.
just a very poor job.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, he got $2 trillion tax cut, benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example,
Like, yes,
we
okay.
have
I
1,000
hate this
trillionaires
argument
in
because, yes,
America.
any tax
I mean,
cuts will
millionaires in
benefit the
America.
wealthy.
And
Why?
what's happening?
Because they pay more
We're in a
fucking
situation
taxes.
where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those
$500 billion in a
child
10-year
care,
10-year
healthcare,
period would
making
not
sure
put
that
a
we continue to
dent
strengthen-
in the U.S.
strengthen our
national
healthcare
debt.
system.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Making sure that
that's
we're
not
able
that
to
much.
make every single solitary
It's
person,
fucking nothing. It's like
eligible
twice
for
New
our medical
York's
with
operating
the,
budget in a year.
With the COVID, excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What?
He's right.
We
He did
finally beat
He beat it
Medicare?
to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Okay,
Because
Trump.
What?
all of these people
Good job,
are coming
Trump.
in. They're
Beat
putting
it
them
to
on
death. Beat
Medicare.
it to
They're putting
death.
them on
Oh my God,
Social
dude.
Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security.
He just
These
completely
millions and
lost
millions
track of
people
where he
coming
was
in,
there.
they're
Yeah,
trying
he
to
shut
put them
down.
on Social Security.
pretty bad.
He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country
And
in
yeah,
the
Trump's
last 4
pouncing on it,
years
too. That's
is
bad.
not to be believed.
Yeah.
Foreign countries, I'm
Yeah,
friends with a lot of
yeah.
people. They cannot believe what happened
We
to the
finally
United
beat
States of
Medicare,
America.
chat. We
We're no
defeated the
longer
boss.
respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election
Oh, do you see?
since the
Biden
Supreme
tried to
Court
talk,
overturned
and his
Roe
mic
v.
was
Wade.
muted.
This morning,
Yep.
the
Both of
court
them are having
ruled
muted
on
mics.
yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the
Yes.
states.
Yes.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision.
Force
to have
women
done that,
to respect
and I will
life.
not block
Force
it.
them.
And if you look at this
No, I'm still
whole
pro-choice,
question that
ultimately.
you're asking, complex but not really
Dev,
complex.
but
51
in
years
communism,
ago,
lots of babies
you
are
had Roe v.
useful.
Wade,
Laborers.
and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back, religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so,
the
they
back
started
to the
talking about how
states
many
position
weeks
is
and
a
how many
very
weeks
strong
getting
one
into
because it's very
other
difficult
things,
to
but every
argue
legal
against that
scholar
without sounding
throughout the
tyrannical.
world,
Because it's
the
still
most
Democratic.
respected,
People still voting on
wanted
it,
it
yeah.
brought back to the states. I
Yeah.
did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was
Now
an
each
end
state can
result. It
determine
was
what
a
the hell
little
he
bit
wants.
more liberal
Easy.
than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But
I
they're
love
all
his
making their own
face.
decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in
what do
the
you mean here, Trump?
exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart, but you have to get elected
exceptions.
also.
Fair enough.
Because that has to do
whole
with
point of
other
pro-choice
things.
is you
You
should be
gotta
able
get
to choose
elected.
it, yeah.
The problem they have is they're radical because they will
Radical,
take the life
exactly.
of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and
Yep.
even after birth.
Yep.
After birth. If you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby.
I haven't heard this story before.
What happened is
I
we
did see
brought
this in
it
California,
back to the
though.
states, and the country is
9th month
now
stuff.
coming together on this issue. It's
Listen.
been a great thing.
Progressives killing
Thank you,
babies.
President Biden.
I'm willing to believe
It's been a
it.
terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided.
Roe was a bad way to get
that's this idea
abortion.
that
Yeah,
we're
and
all
he's
against this is
right.
ridiculous.
They were supporting
And
Roe
this is the guy who
when
says
it
the
was
states should be
decided,
able to
but
have
then
it.
it came
We're a
out that the
state
bitch
where
lied. And
6
stated
weeks,
repeatedly that the bitch
you don't
lied.
even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, have your
Abortion
and
should have
him
been done
decide
through
on
Congress,
what
not
your
through
circumstances
the Supreme
are,
Court.
whether you need help.
Yes,
The
it
idea
should never have
that
been done
states
through
are able
that.
to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women.
Yeah,
now-
RBG
Okay,
thought it was a
Biden,
good case.
I'm on
who
board.
Just was murdered, and he went
Turn
to the
civil rights
funeral.
back to the states?
And the idea
I'm a
that
Biden supporter now.
She was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous. And they
Yes,
can do
in the
nothing
immigrant
about it.
community,
And they try to
finish the
wrestle them
sentence,
across
Biden.
state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women
Holy
murdered
shit, Biden
by
went
the
there.
same
She was
people
killed
he
by an
allows to
immigrant.
come across our border.
I mean,
we have
based.
a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world.
Oh,
Considered
boy.
the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country.
You know,
And they
he's
are raping
pouncing on
and
it because,
killing
duh.
women. And it's a terrible thing. As far
Why,
as the abortion
Biden?
is
Why?
concerned, it's now back with the states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which, frankly, they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back.
Trump
and
keeps
many
pivoting
presidents
towards
had tried to get
immigration
it back.
because the border
I
is
was
the
one to
biggest
do it.
issue right now, and he
Again,
wants to
this
link
gives
it all
the
to
vote
that.
Yeah.
of the
It's
people.
a
And
good tactic.
Biden
That's what
just
they wanted it.
Biden
Every
just gave him a
legal scholar
layup.
wanted
Like,
it
yes,
that
this
way.
woman was murdered by immigrants,
on the
and
topic of abortion,
women are being
President
raped by their
Biden, 7
brothers and fathers.
Already
In
do
what
that.
culture,
Again, this is
Biden?
a
In
state
what
topic.
culture?
7 states have no
Is this
legal
a result of the
restrictions on how
Western
far into
Anglo
a
culture,
pregnancy
Biden?
a woman
Or
can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea
That's
that
not
the
how Roe v. Wade
politicians-
worked.
That's
the
not how Roe v. Wade works.
politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life
How
of the
are you
baby
going to
in
restore
the 9th month
Roe v. Wade?
and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, Put the baby down,
But-
then we decide what to do
hold
with
on.
it. So he's
Did Biden just
willing
suggest
to,
that
as
he
we
would
say,
force
rip
the Supreme
baby out
Court
of the
to
womb in the ninth
reinstate
month
a precedent?
and kill the baby? Nobody wants
Maybe.
that to happen.
Maybe
Democrat
he
or
wants to
Republican,
pass a
nobody
law
wants it to
that
happen.
is similar to Roe v. Wade.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade is
That
not
would be the
provides
charitable
for that.
interpretation.
That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period,
See,
period.
I'm sure
Roe
Biden's
v.
not for
Wade,
it,
you have
but I've
late-term
seen like
abortion.
local
You can do whatever
California
you want, depending on the state. You
politicians
can
who
do whatever
are,
you
but-
want.
and they're
We don't
all
think
Democrats,
that's a good
yeah.
thing. We think it's a radical
Yes.
thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security.
Trump-
President Biden, a
Trump
record
didn't get a
number
chance to
of
speak there.
migrants have illegally crossed the
He didn't
southern
get
border
to
on your
respond to
watch.
that, which was unfair, but
Overwhelming border states and overburdened
Because that was a
cities such as
ridiculous
New York and
scenario,
Chicago,
too.
and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns.
It's like, what if the Republicans
Given
do this
that, why
absurd
should
thing?
voters trust
What
you
then?
to solve
To
the
be
Shut up,
fair,
Trump,
there are
don't
some
answer.
Republicans who
we
would want to
worked
do
very
that. Like,
hard
it's
to get
not.
a bipartisan agreement.
I don't know if
Not
Trump would,
only
but there are some who would, yeah.
changed all of that. It made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not
Yes,
the
yes,
right
you
way
got to
to
do
go.
that because you
What
don't know
I've
if they're
done since I've
trafficking
changed
the
law,
children, Joe.
what's happened.
That has to
I've
happen,
changed
yeah.
it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. It's better than when he left
Bullshit.
office. And I'm going
No,
to
that's
continue
true.
to move until we get
The numbers
total
are
ban
down recently, but they have been up
on
overall
the
historically.
total initiative relative to what we can do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really
Yeah,
don't
but
know what he
Biden-
said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
We don't want
we had the
more
safest border in the history of our
legals.
country.
You want less
So
full
all he had
stop.
to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum.
I don't know where the
terrorists.
mental
We're the
institution thing's
largest
coming
number
from.
of terrorists coming into our country right now. All
It's
terrorists,
coming from-
all over
it sounds
the world,
pretty
not
great.
just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere, all over the world. They're pouring in. And this guy
Don't forget
just
China.
left it open.
Suspicious
And he
spike
didn't
in
need
Chinese
legislation,
nationals.
Because I didn't have legislation. I said close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency,
the
we had,
issue ultimately
according to Border Patrol, who
is that there was a
great, and by the way,
Republican
who
senator
endorsed
who
me
put
for
forward
president,
like a
but
border
I won't
reform
say that,
bill
but they endorsed
that
me
was
for president.
everyone liked it,
Brandon,
but
just
then
speak to him.
the
But
Republicans
look, we
vetoed
have the
their own
safest
bill
border
because they
in
didn't want to give
history.
Biden
now
the
we
win.
have the worst border in history.
That was
There's
a shit
never
show.
been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including
Yes.
those whose spouses are citizens,
Yes.
and including those who have lived here for decades? And if
Yes.
so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And
That's
it
not
had
what he
a
said,
huge
Trump.
Impact on everything.
He said
not
that
just
someone
border,
came
on
in and
everything.
killed 3 people under your
He's
watch.
the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're
Okay,
killing our people
Trump,
in New
you're
York,
going
in
a little bit
California, in every
up
state
here.
in the union, because we don't have
Bring it
borders
down.
anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies,
Just answer the
people are
question.
coming in and
Answer.
they're
Say
killing
yes.
our
Yes, we're
citizens
going to
at a level that
deport
we've never seen.
every
We call it
illegal
migrant
immigrant.
crime.
Yeah.
I call it
Every
violent
illegal
migrant
immigrant.
crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen
Trump's-
before. And you're reading it
He's
like these
starting to mumble
three
a bit.
incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them
Yeah,
I just spoke to the
he's
mother,
avoiding this
and
question. I don't know
he
why.
just
Just
had
say
the
yes.
funeral for this girl,
Just say yes. Lean
12
into the
years
microphone.
old.
Go.
This is horrible
Yes.
what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know.
Come on now,
He
Trump.
opened
You're
the
overselling
borders.
it. Calm
Nobody's
down.
ever
Sit
seen
down.
anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. No one
Trump,
been worse.
why
I
are
had
we
the
playing
highest approval
dodgeball?
rating
Yeah,
for veterans taking care of the VA.
This is quite the
He is
ramble
the worst.
from
He's
Trump.
gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress.
Oh yeah,
all of
he's
the different
flying
things I
across the
approved,
room right now, and I
they
don't know why.
abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now
because
it's down
he's
in
also
less
an
than
old
half
man.
because he's done all these great things that we
guess.
did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is
Grandpa,
crazy.
tell me the
But
story
he's killed
again.
so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in.
President
and it's a
Biden?
very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie.
But
Every
we didn't
single
answer
one.
the
For
question.
example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposed, his group opposed that. We're also in a situation
that
where
was actually a
we have
good
great respect
act.
for veterans. My son spent a year in
There was a
Iraq.
bunch of like medical funding
lived
for
in one
veterans.
next to one of those burn pits. Came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
Damn.
First of all, that was a made-up quote. Suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third.
Yeah, that was a made-up quote.
Failing, like many
Was
of
it?
these
It sounds very
magazines.
Trumpian, to be
He made
honest.
that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him.
No,
We had
that one was
19
proven.
people that said
Okay.
it.
I
And
remember
said,
that
and
one.
Think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking.
I
It's
mean,
the same thing.
Russia wasn't fully
51
made up because
intelligence agents
Manafort
said
went to prison
that
over
the
it.
laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation
There's
we
like
have
real
as a country
vitriol here.
is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they
Like
go to
Obama
war.
and McCain didn't
That's
hate
what
each
we're
other,
doing.
you know?
That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before. in our
Maybe they
history.
should have, Dev.
right,
Maybe
thank
they
you so
should
much.
have.
To the topic of foreign policy, I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its 3rd year. Former President Trump, Russian
Third already.
President Vladimir
My
Putin
prediction
says
of
he'll
a 4 to
only
5 year
end
war
this
is looking better and better.
If Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed, and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers
don't.
can't stand
Oh,
this
don't.
guy.
Oh, don't.
They can't stand
Don't.
him. They
Trump,
think he's the worst
no.
commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him,
No.
that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight.
Oh man.
And they like me
One of
more
my
than
super
just about
chatters
any
is
of them.
saying that
And that's based on
they might
every
swap
single
out
bit
candidates
of
after
information.
this, which is why it's so
as
early,
far
this
as
debate.
Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew that
Maybe.
was respected by Putin.
Trump,
He
don't.
would have
Why are
he
you
would have
dodging
never
these
invaded
questions?
Ukraine.
They're not hard
A
questions.
lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in.
God damn it.
I'll tell you what
Trump's
happened. He was so
inability
bad
to
with
just let
Afghanistan.
somebody
It
else
was
have the
such a
last word is
horrible,
not
embarrassing,
doing
most
well.
Embarrassing moment in the history of our country. That when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind.
Yes.
We lost 13 beautiful soldiers.
The defeat in
and
Afghanistan
38
was pretty
soldiers were
humiliating.
Obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind, too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about his dream.
Probably,
The
yeah.
difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas.
I don't know about
You know
that,
why?
Trump, but
Because
I agree on the
land
first
was broke
point.
with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror.
Yeah,
That's
Hamas
why
would have
you
just
had
done it
no
anyway. They don't
terror
care.
at all
They're ideologues.
during my
Yeah,
administration.
I don't know about
This
that
place,
one,
the
but I
whole
do
world
not
is
think the
blowing
war in
up
Ukraine
under
would have
him.
started with Trump in the White House.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact
Malarkey.
of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last
one
point first.
Biden meme I love is the
Iran
malarkey meme.
attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told
What did Trump do in Ukraine?
You want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I
if
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for
500,000
1 minute, I just
killed
wanna
and
go back
maimed,
to my
not just
original
killed.
question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the
No, they're
territory
not
in Ukraine?
acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we
Why
had
not,
a
though?
leader in this war, he led everybody along.
Fuck Ukraine.
He's given $200 billion
Let them keep it.
now or more to
I don't agree
Ukraine.
with
He's
you on
given
that.
$200 billion. That's a lot
Listen,
of money. I don't
Dev.
think there's ever been anything like it. Every time
What do you think the alternative is?
Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever.
Silence.
And I'm not knocking
Precisely,
him.
Dev.
I'm not knocking anything.
No,
I'm
no,
only
I
saying
think we should keep supporting them.
the money that
Not
we're
with troops on the ground, but with
spending
money,
on
yeah.
this war,
That's fine. With more
and
more
we
stuff.
shouldn't
Yep,
be
sounds
spending.
good.
It should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being
I
killed
want to know how Trump's
so
going to do that,
needlessly,
though.
so stupidly.
Well, by
And
threatening
I will
them.
get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
And that is the best way to
Biden,
do
you
it.
have a minute.
See, the problem is, Dev, you're
fact
too
is
soft. You're
that
like, we'll
Putin
just
is a
give
war
them
criminal.
money infinitely.
He's killed
No.
thousands and
Just go,
thousands of
okay,
people. And he has made
this
one
is the
thing
deal.
clear. He
Agree
wants
to it,
reestablish
or I'm going to start
what was
bombing
part of
Russia.
the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then do you think he'll stop there? Do you
If we
think
have to
he'll
do that, I'm
stop
actually okay
when
with that, too.
If he takes
You see,
Ukraine?
yes,
What do you
Biden.
think
I
happens
believe
to
he's
Poland?
going to
What do
stop
think
there.
of
You
the
know why,
Netherlands?
Biden?
What do you think
Because
happens
he
to the
doesn't have a
Netherlands?
fucking
And so
army
if you want a
anymore.
war, you ought to
What else is he
find
going to
out what
invade?
he's gonna do,
Unironically, what
because
else is
if
Putin
in
going
fact
to
he
invade?
does what he
Finland?
says, he
Sweden?
walks away.
Norway?
By the way,
Turkey?
all that money we give Ukraine and from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much
Weapons are money,
funding
you
for
old
Ukraine
fuck. They're
as
not
we-
free.
That's why
That's true,
why
but
we're
it's not
stalled.
the same thing as writing a blank check.
Thank you.
though.
Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, You've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
No.
Number
Don't
one,
end the war.
everyone,
Don't stop the war. Escalate the war. Finish the war.
Yeah,
No ending war. Finish war.
Israel has to end Hamas at this point before this stops. I don't think the Americans can really influence that one way or another.
Stages to it. The
Yep.
first stage is trade.
The only stage here is American aid to bombing the living shit out of what remains.
The second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas.
No, I want it to continue too. Where's my hand?
Also, to be honest, Israel wants it to
get them
continue
to
too.
accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people.
Oh, they work very well in populated areas, but they work excellently.
And by the way, I'm the guy.
It's not a problem with efficiency.
The world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support.
This is actually
Israel
true. Yeah, it was
world.
the Americans, the British, and the Israelis that deflected like several hundred Iranian drones like a month ago.
Allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas. Greatly weakened, and they should be.
But they're not.
They should be eliminated.
Dead, Biden.
But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second.
No.
We have an ocean separating us.
Don't do it. Don't
the
do
European nations together have spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us.
Trump, this is very simple.
Why doesn't he call
Just
them
say
and
that
say,
your
"You gotta
plan
put
is to
up your money
deploy
like
a
I
small
did with NATO.
thermonuclear
I got
device to
them put up
Gaza.
hundreds
That's
of
it.
Billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job.
Yes.
He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian,
Yes.
but they don't like
Oh,
him
my
because
God.
he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President
the
Biden,
fuck?
you have a minute.
Okay.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have our
That's actually a fair
strength lies in our
point. Trump
alliances as well.
relying on a
Maybe
NATO
big
point when he
ocean,
wants to
but
leave
we're
it is a bit
ever able
ridiculous.
to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe.
Well, he doesn't want to
What
leave it. He
happens
wants to
if, in
force
fact,
them to
you
pay
have
their
Putin continue to
taxes,
go
basically.
into NATO? We have an Article
The
5
leaving it is
agreement.
the threat.
Attack on one
You got to
is
have a
attack
stick,
on all.
otherwise the other people
You
are
wanna
just going
start
to
the
like,
nuclear
we're
war
not
he
going
keeps
to.
talking about, go ahead, let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places.
Oh, yeah,
This is
I'm
what
sure
happens then.
Putin is
He has no
fucking
idea what
itching
the hell
and
he's
invading
talking about.
Poland right
And by the
now.
way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just
Excuse
to follow
me?
up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order
Excusez-moi?
to achieve peace in the region?
I guess
I'd
like
have to see,
post-industrial
but before we do
revolution is
that,
probably true.
The
but
problem we have.
No,
is when we
Franco-Prussian
spend all the money.
War. The
So they kill us
fucking,
on trade
the
and make
Danish-Prussian
great trade
War.
deals with
Okay, fair
the
enough,
European
yeah.
nations. Because if you add them
The
up,
Spanish
they're about
Civil
the same
War.
size
Like,
economically.
no,
Their
Dev,
economy is
dude.
about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars,
The
their food,
Serbian
their
War,
everything,
yeah.
their agriculture.
Good chat.
I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time? And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But
That
now
is
we're in the
true.
same
Norway is
position.
increasing
We're
its own
paying
defensive
everybody's
budget.
bills.
Britain
Let's
is,
turn to the
France
issue of
is. The
democracy.
threats work.
Former President Trump, I want to ask
I'm sure
you about
also
January
viewing Russia
6th,
as a more
2021,
immediate threat
after
probably
you
helped with
rallied
that
your
too, though.
supporters that day.
It's probably a mix
Some
of
of them
both.
stormed the Capitol to
Definitely.
stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you
here we
swore
go.
an oath to, quote, preserve,
6th.
protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever.
Ooh,
We
I
had
like
the lowest
this.
regulations
Redefining the
ever.
point.
On
I like it.
January
Good, good.
6th, we were
He's not
respected
answering the
all over
question,
the
though.
world.
This
All
is
over
a,
the
Yeah,
world
this is
we
a
were
dodge.
respected.
This is a dodge.
And then he comes in.
Yep.
and we
Leap
got
out of. No,
laughed at.
I'm
We're
fine
like
with him
a
leaping
bunch
out of the way out
stupid
of this because
people.
it's a bullshit question.
But what happened to the United States'
Well,
reputation
it's a bullshit question
under this
because
man's
he's
leadership
actually at fault here.
is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at
He's
some
not-
point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech.
I looked into
I could
this.
see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there.
The person responsible this time was actually
and I said, you know what? There's a lot of people
Secretary of
coming.
Homeland
You could feel
Security.
it. You could
It
feel
wasn't
it
Pelosi
too,
and it wasn't
you
Trump.
could feel it. And I said,
That's a long
they
story,
ought to
though.
have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her, and she now admits
All I hear
that
is Trump
she
innocent.
turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look,
It was
he
an
encouraged this
insurrection.
person
Yep,
to
yep, yep,
keep
yep,
it
yep,
up,
yep, yep,
number
yep.
one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Oh,
What
God, the
they've done
bloodbath
to
thing
some
is,
people that
oh
are
my
so
God.
innocent. You ought to be ashamed of
that was a
yourself.
terrible
what you have
point
done, how
from
you've
Biden, the
destroyed the
bloodbath
lives
thing.
of
That's a
so
long
many
story, though.
people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that There was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill.
No.
And all those people, every one of those
there we go.
convicted,
It's back.
was turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked them the
Turning
first
over
two debates
desks.
the debates we had first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys?
Those
He
people
said, no, I'll tell
would
them to
have been
stand by.
patriots if the
idea
election was
he's
actually
refusing-
stolen.
Will you denounce
His problem is
these
it
guys?
wasn't.
Will you denounce the people we're talking about
Dev,
now? You
the only
denounce
way
the
those
who
people would have been
attacked that
patriots
Capitol? What are you going to do?
is if they'd won. Everything else is irrelevant.
I get that point, but I'm talking about morality, not just power here.
After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the select committee
he
on
would.
January 6th going
Yeah,
to
he would.
jail.
Fucking
And
witch
your main
hunt,
political
bitch.
opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponent?
I meant that
Well,
I'll
I
put
said
him in an
my
insane asylum and
retribution
lock
was
the
going to be
door.
Success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before.
Just
but
take
his
it, Trump.
Justice Department
Just say
let
that you're going to put
the
them all in
statute of
jail, Trump.
limitations
Do it,
lapse on
Trump.
the most
Do it.
important things.
All of
but
them.
he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two,
Outrageous.
the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that.
Hello, Abraham Lincoln.
Crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many?
This guy is not a
billions
student of
dollars, you know,
history.
Civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number
Okay,
two,
yes,
that
you
was
did,
a
Trump.
case that was started
He fucking
Why not?
and moved. They moved a
Yeah, that's a good thing,
high-ranking
Trump.
official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan
back
DA's
down, Matt.
office to start that
Question the
case.
timing,
That case
not
is
the
going
act.
to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in
That
because
might
the
be
public
true.
knows it's a scam, and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are
guilty of
determined to
smashing.
destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes.
Oh, he's
The
going
more
to
they
dodge
know
that
about
one.
What he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range.
That sounds like a
issues
threat,
he has to
Biden.
face. I don't know
Listen,
what the jury's gonna do,
regardless of
but
the
I
validity
do
of the
know
cases, and I
it's
think
no
they're
problem.
valid, they're
And
not
so
going
the
to
fact that-
be completed
did you
before
ever
the
think you
elections.
heard
I
any
don't think it
president
matters.
say that I'm going to seek retribution. you ever hear any presidents say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died.
Hitler had some great ideas. You're backing a lot of them.
I said I wasn't going to run.
Renewable energy, for example. Guess who?
Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones
we
who
have
said,
the fine people on both sides quote." How many times has this one been disproven again?
I'd ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people.
You said that.
This is
Biden.
a guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that story. He just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance.
So the Hitler thing was that he actually did have a
president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate
about Hitler on his bedside table.
His presidency.
It wasn't like a pro-Hitler book. It was like
without question, the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having.
It might be table talk with Hitler.
Yeah, it was like the way the story was framed is like it was like a great men kind of thing, not like a I love Hitler kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked.
The problem is, if you actually read Table Talk with Hitler, you would realize that the average progressive today probably agrees a lot with the man.
It happened.
Yeah, I went through that book a couple years ago.
Listen to what was said at the time, and the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches.
This quote has been debunked quite frequently. Are you sure you want to keep going on this?
He's talking about
Biden is wrong about this one.
We saw it
Trump's, he said, like, yeah, I don't like the alt-right, there's also the alt-left, and he's like, there's both sides,
saw people occupying that.
That is what happened with
vice
Trump.
President. Look, there's a reason
Yes,
why.
I believe the quote was like, I condemn everyone who used violence, and then the both sides, fine people on both sides thing.
Yep.
So why?
I did a video on it back when it happened, in like 2017 or whatever it was.
Endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN.
He dimensioned the quote into reality.
Right, I will say the drugs have kicked in. Like he's a lot more lucid now, so that's something.
Yep.
You know, that was a rocky fucking start to put it mildly for Biden.
I'm gonna mute that because Jesus is kind of annoying. Yeah, so it was definitely a rocky start for Biden, but then like in the middle third of that, I guess is the first half. Trump had his share of flubs in there as well. He did some old man rambles. He told a few fibs. You know, it was not all sunshine and roses for Trump.
Yeah, no, and he dodged the questions. Like, are you gonna deport all illegal immigrants? Yes. Like, God, why would you dodge that? Why would you dodge that? Seriously, like your base isn't gonna be like, oh, you know, not all of them. Like, you know, all of them. Like, hell, okay, throw in the caveat, right? If they've been gainfully employed for so and so many years, we'll consider it. But no, by and large, yes, all illegal immigrants, whoosh.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, one of my super chats is addressed to you, Arch. It says, Arch, the president of Belarus has said that their plan is to continue rolling into Moldova after Ukraine.
Fuck yeah, I hope so.
Why? That's a bad idea, Arch.
No, it's a great idea. Do you know about Moldova?
No, I don't. What's going on there?
Moldova is this like tiny little dumbass province that is divided in between like a lawless portion and a not a government portion and a non-government portion. Mm-hmm. It's practically a little rebel state with fuck all legal systems. It's a tiny little hellhole on Earth, essentially.
Okay. And you want Russia to get bogged down there?
Oh no, I just don't want. I just don't like Moldova. I was like, don't like them. I just don't like the Moldovians.
Oh well, okay, yeah. Oh, Arch.
Honestly,
Arch,
if we're writing a wish list here, you know, I would like to see them move into Turkey too. Maybe Romania. Who knows?
Listen, those are NATO countries. Hold on. Arch, you asked who else would they invade, and I gave you the answer. Okay. All right. So, you did ask that, so I guess now you know who else they'll invade.
I don't know if I accept Moldova as a country.
So here's the thing. Like, very clearly something has to be done about illegal immigration. Giving them a path to citizenship just doesn't seem fair, considering they got in illegally.
It isn't fair.
Well, I could see arguments for like some edge cases where they were brought in by their parents and they were like 6 months old and now they're like 25 and all they've known is living in the States. I understand in that case maybe you want to give them a path to citizenship, but for the most part, the illegals have to be deported, and there has to be some sort of border reform to ensure that they stop coming in. I don't think anyone's arguing that anymore, except for like the far left anarchists, you know.
There's always edge cases. Like, you've got a guy, he got in here, like, he's worked for 20 years, he's got a wife, he's a family, he's a pillar of the fucking community, and that's all well and good. But the other 98% of Hoblos aren't going to be there. And we can add in a couple of qualifiers, sure, but in general, the answer needs to be yes, all illegal immigrants.
Right. And by all, you mean most with edge cases.
Yes. I mean, like, if there are exceptional circumstances, then we'll consider it. But by and large, out.
I'm pretty much on board, too. Yeah.
Debate live from Georgia.
Oh, I'm back already.
Yeah.
Persistent challenges you both
A quick
faced
oil
in
change
your
on
first
Biden.
terms, and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are
Why do they have
disappointed
lapel
that you
mics if
haven't
they also
made more
have
progress?
podium mics?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress.
Backups, I think.
The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number 2, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number 3, we're providing housing for black Americans and dealing with the...
We've been providing houses for the blacks.
These corporate corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half. We got to make sure for child care costs. We got to make sure because when you
how did you cut child care costs in half for black children specifically? I'm curious now.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
So there's more to be done, considerably more.
It's like black people have difficult choices to make about child care, do they?
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family, first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home. So
Excuse me?
I made sure that we're in a situation...
A $10,000 free check because of the color of your skin.
To take out student loans.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That should just be for poor people in general.
Yeah, I don't want to, call upon the Austrian man so quickly again, but
Their bills for 10 years.
I feel like we've got some racism here already.
10 years. Millions have benefited from that, and we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing.
Yeah, the inflation point is a wonderful one. Giving $10,000 to people for no reason, well, except being black, I guess.
Anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food, where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window.
The Green New Deal didn't pass, though, Trump.
As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through
He's
the
being
border. They're
killed?
taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million
The
people.
Mexicans are
They're taking
stealing
black
the white
jobs,
people's
and they're
jobs.
taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen
I
it
mean,
yet.
probably,
but
yeah,
you're
it
gonna see
just-
something that's gonna
it's just
be
funny.
the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why
That
there
was
no
COVID, though,
inflation
Biden.
at the time.
Yeah,
There were no
that-
jobs.
And also, there was
that's not
inflation.
quite how
Thousands of
inflation
millions
works.
of jobs for
Yeah.
individuals who are in all communities, including minority
But I do
communities.
like that he starts
made
with,
sure that
when
their
I took
health
over, there
insurance
was no
we have
inflation.
covered.
When I ran
The
things,
ACA has
lots.
increased. I made sure that there are $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again, and they're going to try again if they win. We find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing any, we put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity.
What?
Equity and making sure people have a shot
Hold on.
to make it. There's a lot going on, but inflation
Posted
he caused
4
it
minutes
by
ago to
his
Bloomberg.
tremendous
People
knowledge,
in the White House are
excuse me,
saying
the
that
way
Biden
handle
has
the
a
pandemic.
cold.
Thank you.
And that
Another
explains his current
persistent
condition.
challenge is the climate crisis.
Sure.
2023
But
was
what
the
was that
hottest
answer?
year in
Trump wants to
recorded
cut the
history,
police,
and
Biden
communities
wants more
across
police?
The country are confronting the
think so.
devastating effects of extreme heat,
All right, sure.
intensifying wildfires, stronger
Oh,
hurricanes,
extreme
and
heat's
rising
my
sea levels.
fucking
Former
bumhole.
President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take
You
any
vowed to
action
end your
as
opponent,
president
Trump.
to
What are you
slow
gonna
the
do?
climate crisis?
Well, let me just go back. to
Walks
what he said
over,
about
slams him.
The police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators was his name. And he called it to them for 10, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice,
Also, Chad has a
reform
good point. If
and
he
for
has
the
a cold,
historically black colleges
where's
and
his
universities,
mask?
where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever. The best
That
numbers.
is true. The blacks
lost
are flooding to the
much of the
Republicans in
black
unusual
population
numbers.
because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate
That's right.
clean water.
That was supposed to be
and I
about
want
climate.
absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers
Yeah,
ever.
the answer to
And
this
we
is
did-
simple.
We were using
I'm going to cut
all
pollution.
forms of energy, all forms,
Yeah.
everything.
Nobody
And
likes
yet,
pollution.
During my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I'm not sure that's true.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that anything he said is true. I've passed the most extensive.
Give us nuclear
most
power,
extensive
someone.
climate
One of
change
you two fucks.
legislation in history. In history, we find ourselves. And by the way, black colleges. I came up with $15 billion. For
We
each
find
state
ourselves in
historic
black colleges.
universities and colleges because they
So,
don't
wait,
have. those-
didn't Trump
they
say
don't have
we
the
had
kind of
H2O?
Contributors that
That's
they
just
have
water.
to
Okay.
build these laboratories and all that. Any black student is
They're both
capable of
having some
college
old
and doing
man
what any
moments
white student
today.
Can do. They just don't have the money, but now they'll be able to get those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water, he hadn't done a damn thing for the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord. I immediately joined it because if we reach 1.5
Which was a tremendous mistake. The Paris Climate Accord did nothing. Nothing. In fact, it allowed China to increase their dependency upon coal reserves.
Do all that I've done.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing. It was a ripoff of the United States.
Yes,
And
it
I
was.
ended
It was an enormous
because
fucking
I didn't
ripoff.
want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones who was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it, and it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now,
Europe
I'll give
got
you an
fucked
example.
too,
I heard
but
him say
yes,
before
in general.
insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody.
So they actually
and look,
both did that.
I have the biggest
Trump
heart
got
on the stage, I
insulin
guarantee
down
you
by
that.
executive
And I
order.
want to take care of people.
Biden
but we're destroying our
blanket
country.
canceled
They're
all
taking
Trump
over our
executive
schools,
orders when he
our
first came into
hospitals,
office,
and they're going to be taking
and
over
then
Social
Biden
Security.
reinstated that one.
He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything if we're not able to? The United States can't get its pollution under control. One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By
One of, but you
2035,
know
we
what?
will have
Who's larger,
pollution
Biden?
down. We've
China.
made
India.
significant progress.
And also,
We're continuing to make
you don't need to be
progress. We
oops.
set up
You
a
don't need to be
climate
part of the
corps
Paris
where
Accords to drop
thousands
your
of young
own
people will learn
emissions.
How
Like
to
you
deal
can
with them, just like
other ways to do this.
Peace Corps, and we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims
You're going to change the elemental causes of pollution.
About pollution,
Give us nuclear.
about
Do it.
climate,
Interesting.
I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
So every day, millions of
And by the way,
Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep
He's
Social
just like,
Security
we'll
solvent?
both be dead
yes,
by
make
then.
the
Who
very wealthy
cares?
Begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time of the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're
God, I want to move to America.
I'm proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent. But the biggest thing I'll do if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times. And and if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that I believe supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before.
We must defeat this
and
man.
And as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where we talk about education for black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He could look you in the face. About so many other things, too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation.
You got to actually respond to what was said, though,
the
Trump.
losers and suckers story that he made up is a
Does
total
he?
lie on the military.
Well, yes,
It's a
because
disgrace.
this is obvious
social
He
dodging.
media.
has been
He's
fibbing a
destroying
lot
it because
today.
millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them on.
I mean, yeah, he has brought up even the discredited anti-Trump memes. The lie, the suckers and losers, the fine people on all sides.
The VA to our veterans is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have
Which will happen first?
economy in the world.
Biden answering a question coherently or Trump
economy in the
answering
world.
a question?
We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates you talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession. And inflation is going to increase.
This is turning into a little bit of a preschool debate here. Like, other people have told me that my opponent is a doo-doo head.
Yep.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so than him. The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put him there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired.
This is about healthcare,
every
Trump.
military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be
Technically,
a debate.
you're standing.
He's the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing.
This
deal.
is true, though. Like, he's very suddenly now started being worried about the border.
He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America.
It's supposed to be about
child
child care, guys.
We have the finest military in the history of the world.
Says you, Deb. Says you.
No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody. Number one. Number two,
Really?
the idea.
So I think China might want to.
Apparently over on the
wasn't
Young
joking.
Turks,
Look it
Schenk
up.
is about
Go
to
online.
cry.
159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history, one through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care, he did virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men single parents to be able to go back to work, and we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden.
Facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your amendment.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other.
Are we going to answer that question?
They rate him
I don't know if
because what he's done is so bad.
I hope Trump gets around
and they
to it.
rate me. I'll show you. I will show you. And they rate me one of the
They
best.
raped you, Trump?
And if I'm given another 4
unfortunate.
years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best.
Are those
Nobody's
fake teeth
ever
on Biden?
created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times.
I'm not a dentist,
He
Deb.
wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire, so everybody, including
He
the
does
2 of you, are
look
gonna pay
up, like
4 to
his
5
face
times.
settles
Nobody
into
ever
this
heard of
rictus
before.
grin
All
on
my life,
occasion,
I
and
grow
he
up and I
just
see politicians talking about cutting taxes.
stands there.
When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong.
My
about
opponent is the
he's
worst
increased
president ever.
the-
No, my
he's
opponent
increased-
is the
he will
worst
increase
president ever.
the,
What was the
taxes
question
on
again?
middle-class
Child
people.
care. Please,
I
both
said
of
I'd
you.
never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more, because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that are very important. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You have the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden.
You lost
Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term. The opioid
And we never
crisis.
answered that question.
For both of you,
Nope.
The number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now
fentanyl.
in the throes of addiction?
So-
I remember
who are
an
struggling
unfortunate
with
story
addiction
around
and
that.
To finish up,
The
we
border
now have the
legislation
largest
that was
deficit
rejected
in the
ultimately
history
by
of
the
our country under
Republicans
this guy.
had a fentanyl
We have the
package
largest
in it,
deficit
like
with
laws
China.
to curb
He gets
fentanyl
paid
use.
by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think
He's
he's
a
afraid to deal with
Manchurian
them something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs, because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't, because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come, but he hasn't done that. But he hasn't
We're
cut
still
the
on
tariffs
childcare, by
because
the
he
way,
can't,
except
because
not
it's
really.
too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our
Come
country.
on.
And he's
St.
got the worst-
Floyd, mention him.
the worst situation.
Mention
with
the bronze
China.
statue.
China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country.
Hold on.
They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying
Do
our
what, Dev?
country.
So,
There's
President Trump,
currently
you have 67
protesters
seconds left. The
marching
question was,
towards
what are you gonna
the
do to help
debate
Americans
location.
in the throes of addiction right now, who are struggling to
God,
get the
I
treatment
wish
need?
they would break
Jake, we're
in.
doing very well
Come
with
on.
addiction until the COVID came
Come
along.
on, some
We
action
had
here.
2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every
I gotta
way.
see.
And then we had to get tough, and it was the drugs pouring across the border.
Oh, we've ridden
were-
COVID now.
It started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain
Yeah,
dog.
they're,
It's the most
pro-Palestinian
incredible
protesters.
thing that you've
They're
ever seen, the way
anti both
they
of
can
them.
spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very
they're on
low
the way to the
numbers.
debate
Then
location.
he came along. The numbers. Have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways. They don't even talk about gotaways, but the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border.
Woman
the
trafficking.
worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him, because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use a
For a
machine
while.
that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. and it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically."
This is all true.
He never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended
Sweet
catch and
baby
release.
Jesus.
I made a
Okay.
catch and
These
release
moderators
scheme.
aren't
Catch and
moderating
release
shit.
We had so many things that we had done. Hard negotiations with
Like, they've
Mexico.
added
Got it
mute
all for
buttons,
nothing.
but they haven't added
It's just
stay
like
on
when you have a
topic
hostage,
buttons
we
that
always
blink
pay
at them.
$6
Like,
billion
hey, get back to the
for
topic.
Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter. I think a good guy. And he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you.
That question
President Biden, you
was
would
not
be
answered.
86
But Biden did it,
at
and
the end
Biden
of your
fortunately
second
scored
term.
on him there.
How do you
Dumb.
address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
When you're
First of all,
clearly
I spent
drugged
half
to
my
your
career
gills.
being criticized as being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest.
Yeah, but that
This
was
guy's
2
3 years
centuries
younger,
ago.
a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said,
Yeah, look at the
15
super
million new
predators.
jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America.
Okay,
Over
I want to point out this too.
billions of
50,000
dollars
new
in
jobs in a
private
country of
investment.
300
We've-
million
enterprises,
people.
so
This
we
is
are
not really
growing.
much of an achievement.
By
Yeah.
the way, we brought an awful lot of people. Well, the whole idea of computer chips, we used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went
I
to
don't
South
think you
Korea
can
and
blame
convinced
Trump
Samsung
for that
to
one.
invest
Yeah, that was-
solo.
that was
I
before
think you,
Trump.
here in
yeah,
the United
yeah.
States.
yeah, I think you got to blame
Guess what?
Taiwan for
Those
that one.
fabs, they call
Yeah,
it,
but now
to build these
Biden
chips,
did
those
sign the CHIPS
fabs
Act,
pay over
and it is actually
$100,000.
working out
You don't need
in
a
his
college
favor.
degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the
Yep.
world.
President Biden, you have
American chip
40
fabs
seconds
going
left.
up.
Would you
That
like
was
to add
Biden
anything?
for sure.
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and those who he cuddles up to, from Kim Jong-un, who he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up. you
Then
would
why
be
is
82
Ukraine
at the end
currently
of
at
your
war
second
with
term.
Russia?
What do you say to
Biden.
voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one.
He does
I
have to
through the
draw a
first
clock
5
at some
questions.
point.
He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be
he
able to
talking
hit
golfing?
the ball a long way.
I think he is.
And I do
I
it.
presume
He
so.
doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape
I don't
as
know
I
about that
was
one, Trump. Come on.
years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden.
I would like to see
You
Biden
can see
take a
he
cognitive
is
test.
6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what
Let's
he
argue
says
over
and
the
take
over the
a look
weight
at
of
what he
Trump.
is.
Okay, dude.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Why
Arguing over
are
golf.
we discussing golf scores? Why are we?
21
Let's
rounds.
not act like children.
You
To
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe
Wow.
that. It's totally unacceptable.
Wow.
And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time.
There is an
and also
acceptable
my
form
statement
of
that I
political
made in the Rose
violence.
Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest
Rich.
statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech
Yeah,
I made.
if it
in
was
front of, I
stolen,
believe, the
Dan, I'm
largest
agreeing
crowd
with
I've
you
ever
here.
spoken to,
True,
And I will
yep.
tell you, nobody ever talks about
There
that.
you
They talk
go.
about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one
It's
of
like,
my many
again, you know,
places
it would
enjoying myself. I wouldn't
it
be
would
under
make him
indictment
look
because I wouldn't
better
have been
if
his
he would
political
just say
appointment,
yes to
opponent.
stuff like this.
Because
Like,
he
not
begged me
everything needs to be a
because I was his
diatribe.
opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are
He said the
insane.
thing. He
They're
said the
insane.
slogan.
These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5.
You want World War
Attack
III,
on
let
one,
him
attack on
follow
all.
and win.
Required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for
But
a
how is
follow-up,
Russia going to win
the
that
question
war?
was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who
All
wins?
right, questions.
Just to finish what he said.
I forgot we had those.
Russia.
Yep. Step
They took a lot of land from Bush.
right out of the way out of
They
that
took
one.
a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games
True.
with me. He knew that. I got
True.
along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President
president.
Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the
Yes
the
or no
fraud
question.
and everything else was ridiculous.
The answer
We'll have a news conference on
is
it
a
in week,
minute long.
or we'll have another one of
Come on,
these
just say
in a week.
yes. Just say yes. Just
I
say,
will
yeah.
absolutely. There's nothing
Yeah.
I'd rather do. It would be much
Just say
easier
yes.
for me to do that
Just say yes.
than I'm running again.
Just say
I
yes.
wasn't really going to run until
Just
I saw
say
the horrible
yes.
job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation.
Yeah, the 4 years of
all this
whining has
stealing.
been a bit much.
There's no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more.
Hey,
from
they
the
didn't.
CNN presidential debate.
Hold on there.
Live
You didn't
from
ask
Georgia.
Biden that question.
I think it's because
Hold on.
Biden doesn't have a history of not accepting an election when he loses it. You know, read this again.
Dev.
Yeah.
Dev.
Yes.
Dev, you saying the left doesn't have a history of getting a little rowdy?
No,
when they
I
lose-
said Biden. I said Biden specifically.
Yeah,
I
but-
chose that word
Yeah,
very
they should have
specifically.
asked both of them. That was bullshit. That was very bullshit. That was very, very, very bullshit.
So, how are the old man moments going, Arch?
Okay, Biden, like you can. I think his drugs respond to adrenaline. Okay, because when he came back on, he was back to old Biden, and then when he gets going a little bit again, and the blood starts flowing, and they start pumping all of that cocktail through his system, he recovers.
Mm-hmm.
Trump has done well. English. Well, God help me. Well, there we go.
There we
W's.
go.
On the old man moments. He hasn't really had any serious old man moments. His biggest thing is the fact that he seems pathologically incapable of staying on topic on occasion.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like when you listen to Biden talk, he's very clearly having a bunch of old man moments. Like
Yes.
he's doing the zombie shuffle. He's like mumbling and he's like he can't like pronounce the words and he's taking like 10-second pauses.
And at the every beginning of the sentence, whilst the drugs are revving up, every beginning he fucks up and flubs to the point where you have to really listen into like, what is he saying?
Yep. However, with Trump, like Trump was always kind of a rambler, but it's definitely increased a fair bit in his old age. Like now, you know, a 15-second ramble that would be a meme is now the entire question time of him going off about golf of all fucking things this time. Like he's having his own old man moments, I think.
Yeah, like he should be more direct here because there are many points where he could easily score way more on Biden, honestly. But I mean, on the childcare thing, for example, which neither of them actually answered at the end, I think. Really, is there no policy on childcare that these presidential candidates could hammer through? Is that a very controversial subject in America that I'm unaware of?
See, the thing is like I think like just both of these candidates, like they're too old to do this job. They both have some serious problems. Like, if either of them were replaced with like someone younger, I'd probably go for that one, just based on that. Just based on the fact that these guys will probably, whichever one wins, will probably die in office.
No, I don't think so. Biden, possibly, because there's not that many years between them. But you can look at them. You can look at their energy, their way of speaking. Like, in theoretical years, they might not be that far apart. But in terms of vitality, Trump is a far more vital man.
Yes, he is. I think Trump is 4 years younger, but he certainly has like more than 4 years worth of energy, even though he is declining, as everyone does eventually.
To deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant
And the drugs
progress.
are kicking in.
Yeah, got to rev up a little bit.
Although was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit, number one. He's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where
I don't think either of those are true.
By putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription.
That was
they
one of
need.
Trump's accomplishments that Biden rolled back and
reduced
reinstated.
The federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years.
Yeah, every time they go to a pause, the combat drugs wear off, and he's got to rev back up again.
All along, it's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credit people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people.
Are there still
lead pipes?
Are there still lead pipes in America?
Lead fucking pipes?
Thank you, President Biden.
Did Biden just have a trip back to the, 30s or something?
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer.
Lead pipes?
He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years.
Space-age materials?
But you know what we did for the military was incredible.
I mean, we are in the
Choice
space
for our
age,
soldiers,
so
where our soldiers,
I guess,
instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate. Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett starts now on CNN.
Is the analysis going to be they're both fucking old?
Yeah, I don't think there's much point in watching the analysis because I don't really care what CNN thinks about this debate.
Also, yeah, usually these two will like shake hands at this point, but I don't think they're going to do so this time. There's too much animosity here.
Let's see, is either one gonna make a move on the other?
Nope, they're just hanging out.
Yep. It's
the president and former president making their way off the CNN debate stage.
That's that.
Like, Jill Biden,
Trump,
First Lady.
Trump's just walking away.
Former President Trump walking off the stage.
Yeah, Trump's just leaving.
The first debate of the 2020.
Biden's handler has come out there to try and guide him off stage.
Biden and his wife. Here, let's see if he's
struggling a little bit. He's stuck.
Let's see if he falls down the stairs.
Oh god, he's having a fucking hard ass time.
Oh my god,
look
dude.
at him.
Just dude. Listen, if this were like a Pete Buttigieg versus Trump, I'd probably just be like, "Yep, Pete Buttigieg. He's at least young," you know. If this were like a Nikki Haley versus Biden, I'd be like, "Yep, okay, Nikki Haley. She's at least younger." You know what I mean? These two are just too fucking old. They're just too old.
See, I don't accept that. I don't think Trump is too old. Trump does not strike me as too old. He has the as I bite my fucking mouth, he has the vitality here, definitely. But Biden, like those tiny steps, and he's like, "Oh my god, the challenge of a lifetime. If I fall here, I'll break every bone in my body."
Yeah, pretty much. Damn. Okay, hold on.
It's like, and I love how he goes to the debate moderators and go like, "Thank you." And I will say this too, okay? In defense of the debate moderators, I don't think they were particularly biased. I don't think they did a good job because they didn't moderate fucking shit.
Yep.
But it wasn't as unfair as I was fearing. Now, I did react on the whole like, okay, will you accept the result of the election, Trump? And nothing to Biden. Like, come on. We are in a position where it is very reasonable to ask both parties if they're going to accept the result of anything.
See, I'm not sure about that because Biden did not reject an election before the way that Trump did. It is something that is relatively unique that Trump did, so I think having a question only for Trump was reasonable. I know you disagree though, but
I do, because you're wrong. Terrifying.
No, I'm correct on this.
Awfully wrong.
I'm correct.
Like, remarkably wrong.
Nope.
Like even in the spirit of just fairness, even just to give Biden a fucking dunk and go like, hey Biden, wake up. Would you accept the results of the election? And he could just say yes. That would be all you would need to do.
Yep, and you know what? Biden would actually look good with that if they just gave him that layup. Because I know Arch that you think that 2020 was stolen, but like Trump, when asked the question directly, danced around and had the whole speech. Biden could be asked directly and just be like, yes, and that's that, and he would look so much better.
I mean, again, both of them would look so much better. Like, because Trump, I don't think he ever said yes. He said like, absolutely, sure, etc. All he needs to do is look at them as if they're brain damaged and go, yeah. Like, obviously, I'll exhaust any legal remedies I have because, duh, that's why we have them. But yes.
Yep. Yeah, so like there wasn't much in the way of policy that was explored here, you know, like when it came
remarkably little.
Yeah, even like usually there's not that much in a lot of debates, but there's usually more than this. Like there was a couple bits about the child tax credit, which they mostly ignored. There was some like tax stuff. When asked about Ukraine, it was just like, I'll end the war, but didn't really say how. When asked about Israel, we'll end, didn't really say how. Like, there wasn't, like, I know it's a presidential debate.
Why is this motherfucker's jacket wet?
Like,
is he just sweating like really bad or something?
I went back to replay the start of the debate. I'm not looking at what's actually going on in the stream. Let me jump ahead. Because the analyst team is actually outside. Maybe it started raining.
Okay, it's like, this guy just looks like he's had a tough night. Okay, but yes, continue your point before I derail you.
Like when you watched Obama versus McCain or Obama versus Romney, there was at least some discussion. There was memes and like jokes and empty platitudes, but there was at least some discussion of policy. There was not much policy in this.
There really wasn't. Like half of the debate too was very much so like them just bringing up people. It's like, oh, I know these guys. They said I was great and you were shit. And then the other opposition going to do the exact same thing. And I blame the moderators for this because they did nothing. They did nothing. I kind of like the mic muting thing because at least that kept it. It gave it the impression of keeping it on the rails, But they didn't push their questions at all. Neither side. The questions were just willfully ignored.
Yeah. And I do think that the amount of vitriol, like personal vitriol between these two is part of the problem. Because it's like I said before, like Obama and McCain didn't hate each other. They had disagreements on how the country should be run, and they argued those disagreements. But I mean, there's that one famous moment from the 2008 election where there was like a voter who said, "I'm scared because I think Obama is a Muslim," and McCain, took the mic from her and said, "No, ma'am, he's not. We just have fundamental disagreements on what we think should be done for the country, but I do know that he's a patriotic man." Which, by the way, like that's pretty classy of McCain to do, right? You're not going to get any of that good charitability in this. I think these two guys just hate each other, and that's why there was no real like substantive talk about anything. That and the fact that also they're both fucking old.
We're past that though. That's the thing. Like even with Obama and McCain, a degree of that is sportsmanship. There's a certain understanding there, and we could start talking about uni-party stuff. But like politics, ideally should have certain rules and gentlemanly conduct, right? For example, it should be understood that when you are engaged in a debate like this, the primary focus should probably be on policy position. Like, what are you going to do for the American people? How will you solve this and this problem? That should probably be the goal of a debate like this. And it just isn't. Like, what was achieved today? Whose mind could possibly have been changed by this?
Yeah, I don't think Trump won over anybody. I don't think Biden won over anybody. Yeah, this just seemed to be theater. I know. There's like on Twitter, like in the dissident right, there's the nothing ever happens crowd where they think that all of politics is just theater and it's all rigged and all the entire game was rigged from the start and nothing actually ever changes. I don't believe that, but I do think that this was just theater. No one's mind is being changed by anything that happened here tonight.
No, theater is a good way to describe it. Fairly baseless and pointless. And in part, again, I blame the moderators who didn't do no moderating at all. I really do think, like at this point, the debates are pointless. It would be better to have each candidate placed in front of a hostile tribunal, basically, and interrogated, because this achieves nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I get the other issue is that there's no town halls, right? Because usually there's like 3 debates in one town hall. And the idea of a town hall is that the audience gets to ask questions. And of course, the questions are curated because, of course, they have to be. But like, at least you occasionally get a moment where someone goes off the script and asks like a more pointed question than they should, and you get some real conversation that happens. That happened in the Obama years as well. We're not getting that this time either. We're getting of the normal five events, we're getting 2 of them. And
yeah,
it's like, well, and we're getting them early. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Let me just go over to
actually. Mark the Shame on Super Chat there for $2 puts it perfectly. Politics have rivals, wars have enemies. Yeah, no. Unironically, this wasn't a pair of political rivals up there having a good-spirited, natured debate on how to run the country. This was two people who entered the stage already fully aware that they fucking hated one another and that there was no reconciliation whatsoever. They represent two political positions so diametrically opposed to one another that any conversation can be nothing more than performative.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the whole point of like the parliamentary system that the Commonwealth inherited for Britain is that, you know, you call the opposition the loyal opposition, because the idea is that you have differences on what policies you want to implement, but you're all ultimately playing for the same team. Like, you're still, even though you disagree with the majority, you are still loyal to the country and to the crown, and so that's how it works, right? You don't have a semblance of that in American politics. And now that populists have basically taken over the Republican Party, you do have two parties that, you know, that aren't on the same team anymore. And that, I know everyone's like, oh, the uniparty, yeah, I get it, but there's serious downsides to this as well.
Yeah, it's not a good position that everybody has found themselves in here. Not a good position at all, really. And I'm not entirely sure if there's necessarily any good way out of this, because, again, this is kind of why I think they should have asked the "do you accept the result of the elections" thing, right? Because will they? Is there a reasonable expectation at this point from either party, and we're talking the extremists of the party here in essence,
yeah,
is there a reasonable expectation from either side that the extremists of the opposite side will accept this? Like, I'm not entirely sure about that. Put big fat stupid arch chatfish on screen, and we can turn.
I mean, to be fair, like in 2016, the actual Democrats accepted it. You know, Hillary whined a bit, but she accepted it the next day. The radicals did not. In 2016, you had like people in the streets, you know, marching and, you know, punching Richard Spencer and all this stuff. Like the radical anarchists didn't, but the Democrats did. The issue was that in 2020, it was not just the radicals who didn't accept it. Yeah, I want to look this up real quick. Yeah, so June 27th, that's today, the first debate, which was very, very early because usually they start in September. And then there's a second debate in September 10th, hosted by ABC News. Then there was supposed to be a debate on September 16th, October 1st, and October 9th. And they've all been canceled. I don't know why they've been canceled, though. Hold on. Apparently they've been canceled simply because both Trump and Biden agreed to cancel them. I don't know why, but they both decided to cancel them.
Well, honestly, is that a loss for what we saw today? Would more debates help?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if more debates would help this, to be honest. Because it's like you said, because they have so little common ground. And because populists in general, whether they're left or right, they have no problem with not being loyal to the normative institutions of the country, and in fact they want to completely, you know, deconstruct them and then build new things entirely. It's one of those things where it's like, on some level you can't debate with a revolutionary because they don't even agree on the basic principles of the game, which sucks because debate is one of the ways that you don't go to war. But if you're like, it seems to be a problem that is kind of intractable, you know?
Okay, chat. If you chat wants a poll, all right.
Like I don't
feel
think
like
I don't
a
think anyone
poll is
was
somewhat
convinced, though.
pointless on my chat, but okay, we'll do a poll.
Wait, someone in my chat says the next debate should be a golf game.
Trump 90%. Yeah. But no, honestly, fuck, that would tell us more, wouldn't it? Unironically, if the next debate was a golf game between the two candidates, we would learn exactly as little about their policy position as we did today, but at least we'd demonstrate which one was able to finish a game of golf. That'd be more information than we got now.
Yep. Yes, for me right now, it's like 60-40 on the no for are these debates useful for my chat.
Yeah, again, like theoretically, the idea of a debate is good, you know?
Yeah.
I like the idea of a debate. I want debates. Preferably, I'd like a spirited debate between two candidates about their policy positions and about cultural issues. That's not what we got. That's not what we have been getting for a very long time. I remember the vice presidential debate between Trump's guy and Hillary's guy. I don't even remember their names anymore.
Pence and was it Beto O'Rourke?
That might be it.
Yeah.
That one was actually pretty good. They were mostly on policy. That was a fairly good debate where two relatively intelligent people had a conversation.
Yep.
But it's also just like, at this point, the differences between the two sides are so vast that it's just shit flinging. At which point this is kind of useless. At which point we do have to start wondering whether the democratic process is going to work out very well.
Yeah, I mean, here, Arch, assume for a minute that Biden legitimately wins 2024, and you're convinced that it's legitimate, okay? Assume that for a minute. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the Republicans would even accept that?
I think it does depend on other factors of what's happening at the time. The 2024, previous one, there you go, 2020. Mm-hmm. A lot of the spawning for a lot of the theories about fortification was caused by the suspicious nature of it during the election. I even remember you were with me at that point looking at like, this looks weird.
Yep.
And looking weird is a big factor in this. Yep. And then there was a lot of talk and there was a lot of stuff that arrived, and a lot of this emerged in the mainstream and kind of solidified itself in the common populace. If that wouldn't occur, I think probably both sides would accept it. But that also then brings up the question, what caused these apparent weirdnesses to happen in the first place? Was it just mail-in voting? In which case, maybe we don't see a repeat of it at all this year. In which case, I think it could be appear to be a clean election, and then nobody would argue because it would be a poor position, potentially. But if there is any appearance of impropriety, any appearance on either side, I guarantee you the losing side will leap at it and cover it in coverage and slobber it all over.
Yeah, I think so too. It's one of those things where you already have a political side, and it's the Republicans in the States who are primed to not believe the outcome of the election if they lose it. And yeah, I know there's some radicals on the left who don't believe it whenever they lose too. Yeah. But like the Republicans don't believe more at this point when they lose. So you need to like really make sure that like, okay, all of these stupid coincidences that, by the way, did just turn out to be coincidences, they can't happen. Like the people who are doing the counting have to have their shit on fucking lockdown.
Yeah. Now, I will disagree with that, because I will say it might appear that the Republicans are being louder about it, but we haven't seen the left's reaction to an election being lost in that way. And I still believe that the left is probably more radical and has a larger percentage of radicals than the Republicans in the US.
I mean, maybe. But here's the thing. They haven't taken over. And that's the important part, all right? Because the Republican Party, the GOP, has been taken over by its populist wing. That hasn't happened in the Democrats. The neolibs have kept a solid, firm control. Like, Bernie's insurrection failed utterly. AOC and the squad, they've been relegated to backbenchers. You know, they now jump when Nancy Pelosi tells them to jump, right? The populist left did not take over the Dems the way that the populist right took over the GOP. So I do think that there will be a substantial difference there.
Potentially, but that is assuming the populace wing doesn't begin taking over there, because it's like the Trump is, as you say, the populist wing that has now formed, whereas the Democrats have been able to retain more traditional control over the wider party. But I think that could also be caused as much by the fact that they're more placid. Like, they are in a position of power. The radicals don't need to go out and go crazy. And also because the Democrats have been able to weaponize them more effectively with the Summer of Love, for example. If they lose, I think that might be the spark to create the left-wing populist movements in its own way. Even though, well, I say that, but I'm also not entirely sure if the left has the capabilities anymore to launch a populist movement now, because so many of their positions have become so deeply unpopular.
Yes, yeah, like the defund police stuff was like a complete fucking failure. No one on the left or the right wants that defund police shit anymore. People are tired of the woke nonsense. They're tired of the BLM nonsense. Everyone's tired of Antifa burning cities down. We've been having that since like 2016. Like, a lot of the anarchist left has basically just been eroded, and no one wants them anymore, frankly. Like, they have, I mean, they get a lot of retweets on Twitter. That's about it, right? Like, the populist left is in decline right now, I think.
Yeah. It's also, by the way, important to point out that when we use the words populists here, we're not even necessarily referring to simply whoever is popular, who is the most popular. It is populist. It is the fringe, the most able to mobilize. You know, we are using it in the... What was it? Was it the French that started using that during the Revolution?
Yeah, so yeah, populism, whether it's left populism or right populism, it basically means that you appeal to what the people want rather than what the elites want. And, you know, that sounds all good and democratic until you realize that generally what that also means is it means disregarding and dismantling institutions, which can be quite bad sometimes. Because, you know, if the people want a thing and it turns out that that thing is actually bad, and in fact what should be is safeguarded by an institution, a populist will simply dismantle the institution and ruin things. So, I know some people in the chat are like, populism's good. No. Populism's quite bad, actually, sometimes. You don't want populism, even if it's popular, because what the people want is often just wrong and stupid, because people are retarded.
Well, the amusing thing here is, of course, that this is a debate that will turn on its head multiple times before you're out of the American system. Because you will happily see people saying populism is fantastic, and then you go, okay, so we'll just have like a direct democracy then, where one vote is one vote. No, we can't have that. Like, yeah, because we're a republic now, huh? Yeah. People understand the tyranny of the majority is a thing. Like, this is actually a rather complicated issue. That's the problem with it.
Yep. I mean, I've met some very nice anarcho-capitalists. I don't have much respect for anarcho-capitalist theory, but the one thing they got right is when they said human rights were not democratic. Because the point of having a right to do something is that other people cannot vote it away from you, right? So if I want to go and have gay degenerate sex in the privacy of my bedroom, it doesn't matter if, 100,000 other people think that I'm weird and disgusting, and they want to vote it away. No, I have the right to do that, so it can't be voted away. That's what a right is. It's something that can't be voted for. So the idea of appealing to populism because it's popular, that is a very democratic sentiment, but some things just frankly shouldn't be decided by democracy.
Like, for example, the reason why the US has the Republican system, where a person in the city's vote is objectively worth less than a person on the countryside in many cases, is because they recognize that if we had pure populism, then the people in the cities, the urbanites, or the elites, as many of you might call them, would boss over everybody else. And what does a city dweller know about farming regulations?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like,
see, sometimes, chat, I have to haul you in a little bit, even my chat.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, you can have one person, one vote, but that means that the left wins every single time, all the time, because everyone who lives in a big city is leftist, and that's where most people are. Well, and they all have like one shared culture, and it's just like a cosmopolitan culture. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like populists sometimes like can't see more than 5 inches in front of their nose.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we need the Republican system is probably one of the better ones we have, but it clearly has kinks and issues. And oh god, we could wander into the problems around stuff like gerrymandering, etc., but it would wander us somewhat off the point.
Apparently, Jover is currently trending. It's Jover. It's it's Jover for Joe Biden, guys.
So, rather than talking about the debate itself, let's talk about who we think won. And by winning, I don't even mean like who made the better arguments, because I don't think neither one made too many fucking arguments here. But public perception. Who came off better here?
So here's the thing. No one won, but I think Trump lost a little bit less. Solely because he did seem a bit more energetic, because there was no real talk about policy. No one's mind is being changed. It's just that Biden seemed like he has, one foot in the grave, and that's never a good look.
I mostly agree. I think Biden lost by a larger margin. I think Trump did quite well. His stumbles were relatively minor. He had a couple of dodges, some pretty obvious dodges. And his refusal to just give an immediate straight answer to some things made him look a little bit scatterbrained. But in comparison to Biden, there is no question in my mind whatsoever who is the more medically fit candidate. Absolutely none after that. Like, Biden was consistently demonstrating that he does not have a very good grasp over his own mental faculties.
Here, I sent you something you can play for my chat, for your chat. I'm going to play it for mine. Guys, this is the debate right here. It's just two old fucks fighting. That's the debate.
Kind of, but at least the one old fuck is physically dominating the other old fuck.
That's the debate, guys.
I think Trump definitely comes out quite far ahead here. And again, the issue is, I think Biden's best chance to come out ahead of Trump in these debates is to actually try to bring it onto policy positions, because in any kind of comparison about their mental faculties, he is very clearly going to come off worse. He would have had probably a better chance if he, as he said, he was the youngest politician in office, etc. Okay, he does have more experience than Trump. In fact, he has 40, 50 decades more experience than Trump.
Years, but yeah.
That wasn't demonstrated today at all.
So here's the thing, right? If the Democrats are like, listen, Biden ain't working out, we're pulling him out, we're putting a younger guy in, fuck it. If they just did that and just threw Biden under the bus, and then, assuming that there was no fallout from that, which there would be, but assuming there wasn't, and then just had whatever new guy just come out and talk Biden's exact same policy positions, but just not coming from a corpse, that guy probably would beat Trump, actually. Because with Biden right now, it's just age. It's just age that is ruining his chances.
I don't know if it's just bad. The border looks pretty awful. His primary argument, which kept going on about 50,000 new jobs, is not very impressive. Mostly rebound jobs, probably. And he is weak on the security question. He's unfathomably weak on the security question. Under Trump, it is undeniable that the world just sat at peace and looked at Trump. And it's like, I don't know what he'll do. I'm not going to do anything. And the moment Biden's get into office, there's wars everywhere. He withdraws from Afghanistan, humiliating, and bumbles it on top of it. There is war in Ukraine, and there's wars in Israel and Gaza. And China is licking its fucking lips. Like, he is very weak on the security question, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Artemis just dropped $5 to say, Dev, look at CNN's reaction to the debate. They're openly freaking out about Biden's performance. The Democrats are telling them directly it's a crisis. Yes, and I haven't seen that, Artemis, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because and this is what I mean, though, is that it's because of the optics of it. I don't think it's because of any policy. I think it's all optics. It's all just how old and weak Biden looks. Man, I mean, here's the thing, right? Because of the unique situation surrounding the Eastman memo, I'm always going to be anti-Trump. I'm on the never Trump train. Now, that doesn't mean never Republican train. There are definitely some Republicans I would take over Biden. I think Trump is uniquely unqualified to be president, just for basic moral reasons. However, that does not mean that Biden is good. Biden is ridiculously bad. And they should have gone with someone else. Anyone else, fuck, at this point.
Dev's position is, I don't care how many wars there are in the world, how many thousands of people must die in their beds. I have a moral quandary with Trump.
Yep.
Dev, he'll make an extraordinarily good extremist.
You know what? Now that this...
You can't even disagree with that.
No, not really. But the extremist, I am a centrist extremist is the point. But basically, though, maybe now it's time to finally make that why the 2020 election wasn't stolen video that I've been sitting on now for years. We've now hit the election time, so
it'll come out before the trucker video, will it?
Yep, it will actually. So here's the thing: the trucker video at this point, I'm waiting for the Canadian election because that's going to be in 2025 probably. So I want to release that right before the Canadian election for maximum impact versus Trudeau, because I fucking hate Trudeau.
Trudeau, huh?
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I'm sure you'll end up voting for him anyways.
No,
you strike me as the kind.
No, I am fully on board voting for Conservative in the Canadian election. I would vote Biden if, lesser of two evils. I'd vote Biden if I were an American, but no, I'm voting Conservative here in Canada. The situation is different between these two countries.
Okay. I wanna debate bro you on this one and just hammer you on this point here.
Do it.
The reason why you will vote Biden over Trump is purely because of your own moral stance on the Eastman memo.
Yes.
All right.
Because the Eastman memo actually represents a legitimate attempt to steal an election. And I think if you're willing to steal an election that you did not win, then you should not be anywhere near political power.
All right.
And that is a hard line.
Theoretical universe here.
Huh?
We're going to go into the V-verse, where the Democrats did try to steal it.
Yep.
And then Trump tried to steal it back, essentially. So they both tried to steal it. And we know they both did. In that universe, Biden or Trump?
Neither. I would vote for neither. I would vote third party.
Dev would just go. What's the third party in the U.S.? Like the liberals or something dumb like that?
I think there's like libertarians, there's greens, there's
libertarians,
like
something like that.
Third parties, yeah. Oh yeah. So someone just asked, what's the over under after this? They try to replace Biden via the DNC. They should. Like it would be an 11th hour wild swing, but it's their only chance at this point, I think.
Yeah, but as you said, the neoliberals are in control of the party, and Biden is their man, because what they want is control. And Biden is control. A new guy. You get a new guy in the White House, he sees all of that populist support. Maybe he decides that he's not so easy to control,
Yeah, maybe.
Whereas Biden, all you need to do to get him placid is to just, pump a little bit more dopamine in him, and he'll calm right down. Just change his drip, and he's back on it.
Oh my god, Dev likes Biden because they both wear diapers. Fuck you.
The Devian diaper fetish rears its head once again.
God damn it. Okay, so I assume you have a handful of super chats, and I have a handful of super chats, and we should probably perhaps part ways to answer our own super chats, because I don't think any of mine are addressed to you. And we'd be here for a very long time.
I'm sure several of mine are just telling me to mute you.
I'm sure if we just sat here all night reading each other's super chats, we'd be here for like the next 15 fucking hours. So perhaps we should part ways for now, Arch.
All right, we can do that. Are you moving this week?
No. It'll be the next few weeks though.
Okay, because
like mid-July.
All right.
Wow, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. I'll just line up some guests for the next week then.
Who do you got planned, Arch?
Well, I'll bring Vera Doc on one of those weeks. I heard she's a...
Wait, I wanted to talk to her.
Well, Dev.
Here,
well, Dev.
Bring her on while I'm still around.
Nope.
Listen, you got Lumi. Just have Lumi be your co-host for a while.
No, Dev. I am intending to build myself a harem of VTubers.
Vera's not even a VTuber.
Every woman has its problems, Dev.
Anyway, no, if you can get her on while I'll be around, I'll show up.
Really now, Dev?
Yes.
Really now?
Yes. Oh yeah, there is one super chat for you. Someone wants you to say dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause?
Yeah. I guess there you go. Okay. that was it. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.
Right, I'll see you, Dev.
Yep, see ya. No more Arch, guys. That's it. Okay. What'd you guys think? That was a lot of fun. Here. Let's whip through some super chats. I don't have time to sit here and answer like in-depth questions because it is the end of the night and I'm quite tired. But thank you all for your support. Let's see here. Artemis Fowl, $5. Can't wait for Dev to ignore and handwave that still ongoing 2020 election cases that are illegally being sat on by multiple judges. I won't ignore them, but I think they are not what you think they are. Everyone hates Trudeau, thus 10 bodyguards. True. That's true. Donovan Gill for $10 in politics. Optics are everything. That's mostly true, I think, yes. That's mostly true. Let's see here. Artemis, Dev successfully ignored the Democratic Party leaking horrible results from the debate to CNN and them talking about it before being terrifying for the party. I didn't successfully ignore that. Okay, you always assume the worst, Artemis. Jesus Christ. CJR, $5. Brianna Wu admitted that the Dems have been taken over by radicals in her trigonometry interview. The core part of the party has not, but the rank and file definitely has been. Artemis, $5. Dev, why does Biden have an executive order directing federal agencies to give illegals federal voter IDs in 2022? How does that not look sketchy? Send me that. I want to see it. Send it over. Fondue, $5. Dev, they let the radicals do what they wanted for 4+ years. Yeah, they should have been tougher on that for sure. Under Dev, the short talking community has failed. He's destroyed the channel. Where's the trucker video? Dave Nix can't get meds. It's terrible. Fuck you. Trump wasn't looking to win people over, but to damage Biden's standing with his fractured party, which it seems like it did. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. It's like this was Biden's to lose because he's just too fucking old, frankly. Make having a government of people under 50 years old normal again. Completely agreed. Completely agreed. Maestro Mark. Republicans axe the 2024 Border Act because it states that the Border Emergency Authority may only be used after a 7-day average of 4,000 eagles daily have gotten through. So this is actually completely wrong, in fact, and I've looked into this now multiple times. The act was actually put forward by a Republican senator. It was his act initially. It was 5,000, not 4,000, and what the cap means basically is that when an illegal immigrant or like someone jumping the border is picked up by Border Patrol, they are taken to holding where they can then put in an asylum claim, see if the asylum claim is actually valid. If it's not valid, they get deported within 14 days. At 5,000, after you hit 5,000 per day, what happens is they just put them back on the other side of the border. Now you can say they should do that anyway for all of them, Dev. They shouldn't be processing any asylum claims. Like, one, well, no, they should have processed asylum claims. But two, it's so stupid because, okay, you pick up an illegal, you're not allowed here. Put them back on the other side of the border wall, and then the guy just waits for an hour until Border Patrol's moved on, and then he crosses the border again. It doesn't work. You have to actually apprehend them, process them, figure out where they came from, and then send them back. You can't just drop them on the other side of a border and pretend like they're not going to just turn around and walk right back in. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Fondue says, yes, Biden, I do think the tax system is fair, but just not in the way that you think. I don't know what that was in reference to, but Trump is rambling to get to the statements he wants to hammer Biden with, not because he's an old man. He has no policies. He has for those questions. Well, it's bad if he has no policy. It's bad if he has no policies for those questions. But also, no, I think Trump's oldness is also starting to come through as well. Jordan for $5. Bad news. The executive branch is completely compromised. Good news. Oligarchs are still in charge. Status quo reigns supreme. See you in 2028. Pretty much, yeah. Artemis Fowl, $5. Biden looks like he was going to cry for the war stuff. I remember Biden looked like he was going to cry in 2020 as well. I think Biden just he has the old man crying face. You know what I mean? You getting a 6 handicap is the biggest lie of all. Yeah, that was a great line. The golf stuff was so stupid, but it was so funny. It was so funny. Chaos says, I like both candidates, but we need someone older. No, you can't do that. Both of them talking about tying an onion to their belts. Oh my God. CNN has to let Trump ramble to avoid questions because Biden rambles due to dementia. They know it, so they have to let it ride. No, I think it's not just optics, Artemis. You're coping if it's just optics. Trump has some old man issues as well. Less than Biden, but he definitely has some. Make having the government be full of people under 50 years old normal again. Good God. Completely agree. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Can I have some of Biden's super drugs? Let's figure out who won by trial by combat. Does the Canadian government give out money based on skin color? They might. I don't agree with it if they do. I think it's ridiculous. I don't like that shit. These losers think they're gonna beat the president federal. They're gonna beat President Federal Reserve in 13 and counting, baby. I don't know what that's in reference to. Biden really is the crying apustasia tonight. I don't know what that is, but thanks, Titanium, for the $10. I can't believe Dev is streaming elder abuse live. Thanks, Sammy. Is this deep faked? I might buy that if I weren't watching live. This is really bad. It was bad. It was quite bad. I think I've answered most. There's a bunch of small ones. They're just like, "Hi, Dev. Thanks, Dev." You know, or questions I've answered before. But yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. Thank you. Oh, right, Titanium. Right. Sorry. Right. Okay, I think we've come to the end. Listen, thanks for hanging out with us, or with me and Arch, but me. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Listen, we're going to go drop a raid on some small streamer who's a friend of mine. You guys don't have to stick around, but what I want you to do is spam the fuck out of the chat with coffee cups when you get there. I want it to be a fucking shit show nightmare, okay, guys? Get your coffees. Don't you dare leave, you fucks. It's time to bully. Okay. New video tomorrow? I'll see you next time. Oh, you enjoyed my Gramsci video, Dunning-Kruger. Thank you. Oh, that sounds ridiculous, though, but thank you, man. All right. You guys are the best fans, by the way. You guys are the best. New video tomorrow. Probably new stream tomorrow night with some video games. So come by and watch Dave and I play some video games. And I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one. I love you.